Good morning, this is Anka Metcalf with TradeOutloud.com. Welcome to my pre-market game plan for the major future indices, gold and oil for today, Friday. It is March 10th. It is 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time. 10 minutes ago, we had the non-farm employment report, and the U.S. jobs wages show solid gains, which probably means that we might get a rate hike based on these numbers coming next week into the FOMC meeting. Let's see what the indices and how the indices reacted to this economic release. After a very sloppy trading session yesterday and also the prior days in which the price has hovered, grinding lower yet on a lot of support into the 20,800 and 20,850, the price bounced higher overnight in the Asian session, and actually the European session was very, very choppy. The non-farm employment change actually took the price higher, and the unemployment rate actually took the price higher because we did have the average. We did have the non-farm employment change, and we also had the average hourly earnings and employment rate this morning. And they all came out pretty solid numbers. So in that respect, the price jumped higher, forming a resistance at 20,940 in the mini Dow industrial average futures. And right now it's kind of topping out at this level. Big solid bar took the price right into this congestion area, 20,950. Obviously, at this point, we need to wait for more information for a pullback. It's hitting resistance. Technically, it's hitting resistance right here, so it still has room to continue higher into the 960 and even into the 980. However, it's very, very choppy, so it's going to have a lot of obstacles along the way before it hits these highs that we've mentioned. In case of a breakdown, we have to look at both sides of the coin because we are into a downtrend onto the hourly chart, even though we are in a very strong uptrend onto the daily chart and all the major time frames. So we will wait and see how this little area is being digested here from 920 to 950. This is going to be the critical area, and anything over 50 will be seen as bullish with continuation higher into the 20,975. We're going to look again for another attempt at the 21,000 and obviously the target of 21,162, which is the all-time high. However, these may not be targets for the day, but keep in mind these may represent targets for next week and for moving ahead. And in case we get a really sharp momentum on our side, these are the targets and the follow-through levels that you need to look for on the chart. Let's take a look at NASDAQ, and I did show you an impressive chart of NASDAQ earlier this morning. I think it's one of the best charts I have seen in a very long time, and it is very, very bullish. Daily chart, hourly chart, one of the most bullish moves that I have seen. And lately, in pre-market, and we did have a rally to the upside into the 85 area, and right now strong congestion at this level, 83 to 90, 83 to 90, back and forth into this area. If we break above 92 area, this is going to be the actual break to the upside back into the 5400, and there are projections for the upside into 5433, and actually there is room to continue into 5475. So there is a lot of room for a continuation higher for NASDAQ is heading very, very is looking like it will start a very strong New York session in about 40 minutes or so. To the downside, if we break down, not a lot of room to follow through to the downside. 5380 is going to be the first target, and the risk to reward here is asymmetric, so it's not going to make sense to short in this area. So I'm not going to look for a short. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 index, and okay, here we go. Very strong congestion, actually surpassed this resistance area at 72, projection higher. Honestly, it has void all the way into 2400. Again, it may have a pit stop with a resistance at 2378, but other than that, it has a very clear void all the way into 2400. So again, right now we had the initial breakout at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock into this area before we have established this range before the numbers came out, which is normal. It's typical for price to do that, and we had the break. So far we're going to wait for a little bit of pullback. We're going to wait for things to settle down before we initiate trades. Let's take a look at the Russell. Remember, Russell is one of the weakest indices, has advanced, has triggered a daily buy, which makes it bullish. Targets 1380, 1370, which were actually some of the locations that we have been looking for trades this last week. Let's take a look at CL, and this is oil. Oil has been basing, has found a bottom at 48.59 yesterday at the close, at the pick close, and then then pretty strong bounce into resistance, consolidated here for most of the night, most of the overnight session. We're 10 minutes away from the pit open. So obviously the price shot up right into this minor resistance area. Depending on how it will react at this area, it may have room to pop up right into this prior high here of about 50.80 area. And then it has room to follow through higher to approximately 52.50 area. So it has a lot of void to the upside, and it also has a lot of void to the downside. But keep in mind that that the risk to reward level should be also taken into consideration at these levels. So if we happen to break down below 49.35, then we have room to continue lower back into the 48.50 area. So it's going to be a little bit challenging here due to the relative weakness that it has, and also due to the fact that we have established an uptrend throughout last year, and this can also represent that higher low on the daily chart and especially onto the weekly chart. So we're going to see how oil is going to handle it. It's going to be a very, very difficult trade. Okay, so gold is shooting up. It's finding support here at the 1200 area. You could see that it had a flurry down into 1194, finding support here in the area that we talked about yesterday. And this is a very big area of influence here at 1200, because if this area is going to hold, if this bottom is going to hold here at 1194.50 or 1194, if that's the area, the price can jump up back into 1250. Okay, so that is a great distance. However, for us day traders, we're going to look for follow through into 1217, 1220 for short and medium term. As of right now, a big shot up in gold. So so far nothing to do here, but we're going to wait to see how price is going to. So very, very wild move right now. We're going to have to wait and see how the price is going to react. And obviously this shakeout happened exactly at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. This is all for today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let me remind you that we have a new power income day trading class scheduled for March 20th through the 31st. It's going to be a 10-day trading trading event in which we're going to have 1 week of live trading. So you're going to get to trade with me live in the room. And also, if you would like to hear more about the class, and if you're interested in registering for the class, please remember to email us at info@tradeoutloud.com. We're going to send you all the information. And in the meantime, you can read more about the class at tradeoutloud.com/futures. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here on Monday.